Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I I'm here. Not supposed to be. I was fully intending on going shopping today, but I lost my car. Um, Someone got into a car accident. I won't say who, but someone in my family needed the car more than I did. I mean, getting to work is more important than going shopping any day. So it's fine. The things you do for your children, because just because you love them, um, just because I love them. I'll do anything for them. They're so sweet. Of course, I have to like pick on them a little bit. Like, what did you do? What did you do? It was just a little thing. It's minor, but it causes minor things can cause major problems sometimes, and that's just how it is. Somebody's hurting. I wonder why. Uh, um, so that's what's happening to me this week. Well, I have to figure out how I'm gonna get some groceries because I do need a couple more things. Um, we're ending up having mini Thanksgiving at my house, about 6 people, which for us is very, very mini. um, excuse me. I think I'm getting sick. I had a coughing fit that I haven't had in a couple months, and I'm not real happy about it. I am not happy about it. I'm tired of being sick. I've been sick 7 times this year, and I'm over it. I'm over being sick. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Um, so I guess we'll start with reality roundup. Um, we're gonna do Baylen out loud because I know I'm behind on some other things, but we got Baylen out loud, I think, caught up now. um, they chose the wedding venue, and it's not the backyard. Thank goodness, because I think her parents would have completely taken that over. Um, they're too enmeshed in what she's doing, and they need to back off. They're mad because she hasn't shared any of the wedding plans, which I don't think she's made a whole lot of them. So what's to share, you know? But they did choose the beautiful venue that they showed on last week's show, or week before last, um, near Roanoke, near Collins family, and it's gorgeous. I don't blame them. I do have a link. I should have shared that. Okay. Um, I haven't linked. It took me half an hour to find it and make sure it was the right one this morning. I did look, and it's gorgeous. It's called The Seclusion. And when she made the announcement, she said The Seclusion, but I didn't realize that's what it was called. I thought that might be the vibe. Wasn't sure, but it is called The Seclusion, and it is in Virginia, and it's on a mountain, and it's beautiful. And then there was another one. The first wedding venue pops up, says it's only mountaintop venue in Virginia. It's not. They're lying. They are lying. So Baylen mom, after the announcement, she says she has more questions than answers. Like, what was the question about the venue that you had? Like, they picked the venue, they told you where it was. Why do you have more questions? I don't know. I love how Alan is being kind of mature about the announcement, which is unusual for him. So I'm kind of surprised. Bailey came over to thank him for putting the engagement party together, and he was like, "Well, my feelings aren't important, yours are, but we all know how he acts sometimes." And I definitely love how in the dark the parents are on the wedding, and they can tell that they hate it. I feel like a lot of the kids' anxiety that this family has, all the kids seem to have some type of anxiety and then other problems like OCD on top of it. A lot of them, I think, is due to the parents being like this. I could be wrong, it's just a theory, but from my observations of what they put on the show, it seems like they're too in their kids' faces, and that can cause anxiety. I know my kids have anxiety, and I back off because I know that me calling them out or trying to discuss it makes them even more anxious. It does not help at all. So it's better that you back off rather than be in their face and on top of them about everything. Sammy, which is Baylen's older sister and the maid of honor for the wedding, is expressing that she doesn't want to miss anything, but also her anxiety, OCD, and depression are probably going to make the wedding take back seat for her. She has problems even getting on a plane to travel. So, and she has to apparently get on a plane to travel back home to be in the wedding stuff. She was there for the engagement party, um, which is terrible. I'm so poor Sammy. Poor Sammy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any answer for that one. I feel bad for her. Baylen's new medication is making her gain weight. The new medication's working well, other than the weight gain. Um, her social media comments are terrible, calling her pregnant and stuff. So I learned a while back, don't read your own social media. I made my husband read it. he would, he'd get mad for me. Yeah, people are calling me names on online, and these are people I knew face to face, not even strangers on the internet. These are people that had to deal with me. They wanted certain things to be done. Not really wise. Although I don't, when I have a job, I don't do subversive things like that. So I could have. I could have made their lives pretty much hell, but I didn't. So Colin, because of Baylen worried about her weight gain, Colin suggests they get into shape for the wedding together and tells her to find a class that she wants to do and he'll do it with her. And may I say, green flags for Colin. Green flags all around. He is such a good guy. Baylen's mom meets Baylen at they're like at some kind of pet store. They meet in the weirdest spots sometimes. So this time they're in a pet store. They never even name the pet store, I don't think. So why would you meet your daughter in a pet store to talk to her about her wedding? This seems weird to me. But maybe that's just me. Maybe this is normal for people and I just don't know. So her mom thinks she's acting off like she's clueless about the wedding planning. That's your first go to. Or she doesn't want to think about it, which could be. But really, it's an Alan problem. It's a dad problem. Um, so Baylen mentions that dad's come up in therapy. So her mom, who I can never remember her name, I'm terrible with names. Takes me forever. I finally got Alan down. Now I just have to be traumatized enough by the mom to remember her name. Well, Baylen mom's offers to have Colin and Baylen over for a dinner chat. Baylen doesn't think Alan is overstepping, but he is, and Colin knows he is because Colin seems to have a decent family. And Baylen thinks Alan and Colin can have a light-hearted conversation. We'll see. I have my doubts. Have you met Alan? Wife of Alan? Have you met him? So remember back a few sentences ago when Colin told Baylen he'd do whatever she wanted for a workout? Well, they get to the place and he's like, I'm not going to pole dance, so it better not be pole dancing. Then he sees a sign. He says, I just saw a sign that says yoga. Please no. So he does it. I thought it would be goat yoga. For sure, it would be goat yoga. I was wrong. They're riding hobby horses. It's a workout where you ride hobby horses. It's great. I love it. I love it so much. I might have to do it myself. It's wonderful. Apparently, Colin, oh my goodness, Colin would ride hobby horses naked as a child before his bath, which for a little kid is normal. It's normal, but it's so funny. I have a child who spent the first 3 years, 3.5, 4 years of his life undressed, so I get it. He would literally stand in front of the picture window when the garbage men were coming up to pick the garbage because, boys would stand there naked and watch the garbage people and smile. They thought it was cute. So, little kids being naked is fine as long as it's not on the internet. Don't do it on the internet. Don't even put their little pictures up on the internet. If you look at my social media feed, you will not see my grandchildren's pictures there at all. because I don't put them on Facebook. I mean, I do, but not there, not where you can see them, not where the public can see them. They're in a private group with just family. There are no naked ones at all. And my kids were older when we got the internet, so when when Facebook came around, so that wasn't an issue when my kids were really little. Colin says he is going to do what's best for himself and what's best for the both of them. And realistically, now is the best time for him to do that because Baylen is still on her parents' insurance. So it's not like he needs insurance right away. Baylen has insurance for now, and she will for the next few years, I think. Um, I don't remember exactly how old she is, but she's not gonna I don't think she's on the verge of turning 26. I want to say she's in her earlier 20s. So they're all in their face about the money. So then the parents are talking, and the mom says they need to confront Colin about the money matters head on. And I don't like how that sounds at all. I think they're going to be in their face about it. So Colin and Baylen are riding to the meeting, and he says he wants to set boundaries now instead of when it's too late. So green flags for Colin again. Yes, set them now. He says he doesn't want to have kids and have it be too late before they set some boundaries with her parents. She doesn't think they overstep at all. That's an issue. She needs to realize she's used to it. That's the problem. You don't know that your family does weird things until you're out of the house and realize that other families don't act like that until you're out of the house and have more exposure to other families. Because what's normal in your family, and even if just benign things, having popcorn every night. Most people don't have popcorn every night. I grew up having popcorn every night. Nearly every night we had popcorn. That was just normal for us. That's not normal for everyone else. It's normal for us. And that's okay. But when it gets to be um, interfering in other your kids' lives, that's not good. So what may be normal in your family may not be normal in every family, and it may not be normal in general, especially if it's abusive. Okay, so they start in on them right away, the planning the budget, like the kids haven't discussed it at all, which they have. We've seen them do that. Okay. I'll have to ignore that until later. Got a message from my husband. Then um her dad being mentioned in therapy comes up, and he's acting like a dick right out of the gate. Like he's acting like he's mad about it. Like, what did I do? Type of thing. It's so frustrating. Like that's not how you do that, man. I'm sure I've come up in my kids' therapy. I don't even ask about it because that's their therapy. All right, I don't know what we're gonna do now because I don't have anything planned. um, leave me alone, dude. I'm on the internet. So um, not that one. No, I know what we can do. Shoot, no, I had that up here. Oh, I know where it's at. There we go. So we have these origin of flare things, and I should really make a list of these. Where the flare from Boru comes, best of Redditor updates. Some of them are wild, but it mostly in the comments. People will comment something about something, and people will like, that's really funny. We should make that a flare type of thing. If you're not familiar with, I think we read that one. All right. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. This is a really good best of Redditor updates. Shoot, we lost. So the flare is with the little clap things. She drove away. Everybody saw it. Oh, I was a little off on that. So this is the Beloved Saga. Is what it's called, and it is juicy. I have read it. It's juicy. Actually, I'm going to. This is a bonus episode, so nothing is planned. Nothing is in, and I'm like working while I'm doing it. Na, 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 na. So I'm making a new spreadsheet of the ones we've read, so we don't read them again later, because I will forget. Oh, probably blower flare. That one I know for sure. And while I'm doing the other ones, I will know whether I'm gonna go back and edit some stuff, so I will figure it out. Goodness, I can't do anything. What's it doing? So weird. Why is it that color? I don't understand this at all. Oh, okay. I see what happened. Just ignore me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll do the rest of that later. Okay. So now we're back to the Beloved Saga. Not gonna help. Yay. That worked better. Okay, we're getting there. All right. Now we shall begin. Like I said, I've been coughing, so I'm probably gonna have to eat candy and crap. There's a tickle in my throat and will not go away. So there's trigger warnings for depression, suicide, transgender reassignment issues, just so you're aware. This was first posted in Off My Chest. Um, I helped my wife transition, and now she calls me some dyke and files for divorce. I never imagined I would end up married to a woman. When the person who is now my wife, who I'm going to call Paula because that is not and has never been her real name. She was a man who I'm going to call Paul for the same reasons. 2 years into dating, Paul told me he was bi. 2 years after we were married, Paul comes out as trans and chose the name Paula for herself. I'm not going to pretend that Paula's transition was easy for her or me because it was not. There are people who would say it would not make the slightest bit of difference to them if their spouse or partner suddenly transitioned, and there are people for whom that is even true, but I am not one of them. I've tried. God damn it, I am trying. I went to the couples therapy with her. I went to her own therapy sessions when she asked. I got a therapist of my own. I read books. I reached out to other people with similar experiences. I stood by her when the family and people who'd been friends pushed back. Spoke out against my friends and family's transphobic comments when they came up. I stared dumbly as 3 different therapists heard my story, tut-tutted, and called me bigoted to my face and said I needed to get on board or get divorced. So I got on board. We burned our wedding album because she couldn't bear to look at herself, past self in a tux. That's really sad. Also, I mean, if you're a straight woman, you're just not physically attracted to other women. I don't know that it matters how much you love someone if you're not going to be attracted to them anymore. It's no harm on either one, no blame on either side. It's just we're humans and that's how we are. I did so much more, and I'm not saying that I want or expect any kind of kudos, for I do not one second imagine that. Relative to other cis spouses of other trans people, I have done anything noteworthy or had a more difficult than usual time of it, but I effing tried. And I did it because while the person I loved was no longer a man, she was still the person I loved. And I did all of it while strangers and people I loved attacked me for being the transphobic one. If I ever expressed a moment of shock, a moment of hesitation or uncertainty, or a moment of, oh my God, this is a lot of change all at once. Can I please sit down for even 1 minute so I literally don't collapse from the panic attack I'm literally having literally right now? I mean, that is an understandable emotion completely. Like your whole life is turned upside down. I can't even imagine. I don't have to. My husband is definitely not trans. Not that there's anything wrong with being trans, there's not. You're just born that way. Then this week at 10:45 a.m. on Tuesday, there's a man in a suit and a Hitler haircut at my cubicle handing me a stack of papers that say separation agreement on the top. He's whisper shouting at me that I need to sign right now or there will be consequences. Well, that sounds threatening, doesn't it? He will not agree to take this to a private conference room away from the looky-loos. I tell him to wait while I call my wife, and she lets out a long, exasperated sigh when she picks up. I tell her about the Hitler man, and she says he's legit, and with one sentence, does her level best to tear my heart out and throw it onto a fire. I just can't stay married to some effing dyke, she said. What makes her the dyke? She's not even gay. That makes no sense. In case anyone is unfamiliar, and there are people in the world I'm sure are, um, a dyke is a derogatory term for a lesbian woman, specifically the ones kind of who present more masculine than feminine. It's not nice. You shouldn't be saying it. When I came home, all of my things were packed in suitcases by the door, and so very many of our friends were there to support her. I think it's easier this way, she says. She said, works from home, you see. Totally logical. So she gets my support, our house, our friends, and I get called some fucking dyke and thrown out on the street by a gang of people chomping at the bit to dogpile on me if I'm anything less than 1000% supportive of the person harassing me at work and kicking me out of my own home. Second post was posted in legal advice and was deleted. Titled Navigating Estates, Tendency, Discrimination, and Grief in North Carolina. Preamble. My partner, masculine, non-binary, and I, cis male, are poly, which I understand. Okay, this was written by the transgender guy. Or, yeah, guy. It's transgender. No, transgender girl. Sorry. Oop, my bad. the transgender woman partner. Preamble: my partner, mask non-binary, and I, cis male, are poly. Okay, no, it's not by her. This is by their girlfriend, boyfriend, cis male. Okay, this is by the uh the transgender person's male boyfriend. My partner, mass non-binary, and I, cis male, are poly, which I understand will be a deal breaker for many here. But if you are one of them, please move on and don't add to the dog pile that is our lives. Thanks. And thank you to everyone reading my late night ramblings and inquiries. Background: partner and I met our beloved, male to female, almost a year ago. This Thursday would have been our 1 year anniversary. At the time, she had just started working again and was just coming out of her probationary period and was still shackled to her spouse, joyless cis female. We, partner beloved and I, proceeded to carefully and discreetly with our courtship because for the first months, beloved was still wholly dependent on her spouse's insurance to cover prescriptions and procedures. But once beloved was secure, recovered from surgery, and cleared to work from home full time, we started seriously considering our futures together. So the trans girl was having an affair for a year before she broke up with her spouse. Nice, nice girl. Beloved ultimately agreed that the honest thing to do would be to divorce her spouse. So, with the help of some beloved's friends, partner and I broke the news to her spouse, served her with papers, packed her things in the nicest suitcase she had, and helped her move out and us move in. Well, that's not really how that happened, is it? This is just a description of how there are two sides to every story. I actually wish they would have done this one first. I do. I wish they would have said this one first because it would have said a up wholly different. I wish there was some simple catty story with a happy ending or no ending at all, but life and love are never so easy, as I'm sure all of us here know firsthand. Beloved spouse refused to agree to our terms. Yeah, because she's not getting any terms of her own, dude. Refused to even sign the papers, partner hand delivered to her. I am grateful we had so many people with us when she first came to our house because I fear she would have turned violent without them. And those are both just from the first day. She hired a lawyer to fight the divorce, a no fault at that, and demanded beloved buy her own house back from her blood money. This was after she had abandoned it, let me remind you. She didn't abandon it, you made her leave. You made her leave. That's not abandoning something, being that's kidnapping a house. You stole the house. Beloved spouse refused to budge, refused to settle, refused to negotiate. Barely, well, she's not going to settle or negotiate with you. You have nothing to do with that. Barely restrained her contempt in talking to us. I'm sure it was no coincidence that whatever her lawyer dead name beloved, she very begrudgingly corrected him as if to claim she was some woke AF princess of power rather than the frigid soul who had hired that troglodyte to begin with. Wow, somebody has feelings. Her virtuous signaling didn't end there. As the months wore on, she had every mortgage payment she made above us, as though it were some kind of moral victory or virtue signaling rather than her paying for the house she supposedly wanted us to buy for her so desperately. Beloved did not handle the stress well, at all. I suspect but cannot prove that her spouse had intended all along. On Friday, May 1st, while my beloved and I were making another trip to move our things from the old apartment, beloved died by suicide. Before her body was even scarcely cold, her spouse had swooped in, claimed the body, and had her burned. A week later, she snuck out to our house and taped a notice to quit on our door, claiming that she was suddenly our landlord now and that we owed her rent. Because you do? Her house that she had previously demanded we buy from her. Well, you didn't buy it from her, so you don't own the house. While partner was on hold legal aid, I checked the mail and saw an identical notice in mail a certified mail envelope. We burned that one. It seemed fitting. So you're burning legal documents now. Really smart. My friend's partner and I found ourselves in a terrifying limbo. Beloved truly despised her hateful spouse and absolutely intended to divorce her. But nothing was ever finalized because their spouse dragged her feet. Beloved clearly intended to change her will to provide for partner and I, but never lived to do it. Now we are apparently, if legal aid is to believe, the tenants of Beloved's would be ex. Yes, yes, you are. Which cannot be legal or ethical. Yes, yes, it can be. Given her animosity and prejudice towards us, she can be as animatistic. I don't know. Animatistic or prejudiced as she wants towards you. It makes no difference. Her attitude towards you makes no difference. This is a legal thing, and that's all that counts. And we must either pay the exorbitant and serious rent she demands or be evicted from our own house. Why don't you just leave? We are counting our small blessings that our state has put a moratorium on evictions. It isn't much, but we will take what crumbs the system throws our way. Sadly, it is due to expire the first of the month, which means one day we will have to face this woman in court and be her punching bags for all the world to see, because she is still so furious at a woman who is already dead. Questions I hardly know where to begin, but given all this above, I suppose something have 5 questions in relative order of importance. 1. Do we have a cause of action against beloved spouse for stealing and burning her body and keeping the remains from us, given that they were on an inevitable path to divorce, and beloved absolutely would not have wanted her spouse to be anywhere near her, as evidenced by initiating a divorce process? Nope, you don't. You don't, because you weren't married to them. She was, and divorce hadn't gone through. Too bad, so sad. If beloved's spouse is truly our landlord now, how can we prevent her from evicting us or charging an unconscionable rent? You can't. Even granting that she somehow became the landlord, she is. She should not honor the implicit contract we had with beloved, which stipulates that we may live in the house and use the house as we see fit. No, your contract was not with her, the owner of the house. The present owner of the house gets to stipulate the contract. No other implicit or otherwise contract would stand. 3, is it legal to demand that your tenants buy your own house from you? Yes. Yes, it is, because you don't own it. You can buy it or you can leave. Those are your choices. 4, what would be the best way for us to challenge and defeat beloved's will? You can't, given that she intended for us to live in our house and that her spouse abandoned it. Do you have any evidence at all that that was the intention? Any, other than something she said one time, which you can't prove. 5, do we expose ourselves to retaliatory charges if we file an ethics complaint against beloved spouse attorney for dead naming her? I think that's silly, but I mean, I suppose you could do that. You could do that if you really want to. I don't know how far it would go. It says to get the full extent of it, you should really read the comments of that post because the summary just doesn't do it justice. LAOP is insistent that the wife abandoned the home because she drove away after they threw her out and refused to accept that she was still owner. Third was posted by the wife in Off My Chest. I finally have my house back, but my life will never return to me back to normal. 8.5 months ago, my wife sent one of the men she'd been cheating on me with to my job with an illegal divorce decree to sign. I don't know that it was illegal. That might be a bit much. That same night, the rest of her harem threw me out of the house and moved themselves in. The rest of her harem. 5 months ago, she killed herself, and the two dipshits in chief who'd made themselves home in my house refused to leave, claiming the house was theirs. At the advice of my lawyer, I put on a magic hat that said I was a landlord, and they were a month-to-month tenants who wouldn't pay rent, and the song and dance routine of evicting people from my house. This was right around the time my state implemented a moratorium on evictions. So that was during COVID. So now, in addition to being the kind of a-hole who would evict someone, I was the kind of a-hole who had to have laws passed to keep me from doing harm. and the DSs in my house revealed that they were living for free in my house, and I was still paying a mortgage for, sending me regular death threats while they hadn't even finished moving in all of their stuff from their old apartment, and I was living in an unfurnished one bedroom and sleeping on a pile of laundry because between all the current and new expensive, I couldn't afford a mattress. But I was bad word, and the evil capitalist. And I just wanted them saying or making threats either. It was their friends and family, people who thought I had been friends with random looky-loos who saw their social media posts about it, and every now and then a garden variety a-hole was passing by. I can't begin to describe how much it effed me up to have an eviction under my belt during a pandemic as the evictor. I cannot begin to describe how much it effed me up knowing the only way I could enforce the eviction notice would be through calling the cops after George Floyd, or seeing the damages those two DSs had done to my home, or the others S show that actually getting them physically out of the house turned into. Wow, I want to know that story for sure. I have my house back. The people who took it from me are gone now. Things are not and never will be back to normal, and in the end, it almost certainly wouldn't have been worth it. But this was the outcome that would have hurt me the least. I feel so sorry for her. The top comment is the second post was ridiculously unsufferable. And I don't have a life says, I also love how they said she wants the house back she abandoned while literally admitting earlier in the post that they kicked her out without notice. Right? They're wild. I don't get those people at all. O'Seal says, but they used the nicest luggage she had. Sarcasm, of course. Wow. The second post, the comments are good. It is insufferable. The legal stuff of nightmares. It wouldn't have been long before sovereign citizen came into it. Oh, geez. I really like the one comment about how NC still allows for alienation of affection. I hope OP sues these North Carolina still allows for alienation of affection. I hope OP sues these a-holes for damages. Should we go check the comments? No. Oh, yep. No, we still have it. It's been deleted. The moderators deleted the post, but they left the comments up. This was like 6 years ago, so I hope OP is doing well now. So the questions they had, remember the questions? No, the marriage trumps whatever relationship you had. 2, you can't they can evict you as per state law. 3, they can make it a condition of continuing to rent to you. 4, none, the will is legally binding. 5, no, but it isn't going anywhere, especially if legal documents as such were still in the previous name. Mourning beloved, that's what mourning as in they're in mourning, not mourning in the morning. Mourning beloveds 1 is the OP. And they apparently are still active on here. Thank you to your responses. Some follow-ups. 1, but she was in the process of getting divorced. The marriage was already dead and rotting in the sun. Not according to her, it wasn't. According to her, she was doing everything she possibly could to make it work. 2, beloved spouse actually couldn't evict us right now, even if she were our landlord, because of the statewide moratorium. We never signed any agreement with this woman, nor would we ever. She cannot unilaterally impose this kind of obligation on us. It isn't fair. They're not going to sign an agreement with somebody that they hate. Why are you living in her house? 3, that is absurd. Really? I guess I should count my lucky. Nowhere else have I ever lived who has tried this. That was the evicting one. 4, what if we showed the courts all the photos we took, the letters we sent, declarations of love we made, and testified about how much beloved despised her spouse? Couldn't that establish intent at least null the old will? And 5, he dead named beloved while she was still alive, presenting as female and had undergone top surgery and in the same room as him. That sounds like a gross negligence to me. And the answers are one, that doesn't legally matter. Two, as soon as the moratorium is over, they can evict you. Three, they can demand whatever they want. You don't have to buy it. Four, no, and five, no. I think they were getting over him. I think they were over him. Morning, beloved. If we doesn't have to buy the house, then she can't really demand we buy it either. No, but you have to leave. It's not your house. I would say it is grossly negligent to call a woman by her dead name. I hope the North Carolina State Bar agrees with us. What if we show beloved spouse exactly the same degree of courtesy and humanity she showed us? How long could we drag this out? She'd run out of money at some point. At least that one got downvoted by one. Anoiba. I've seen that one before. She can sell the house. And the new owner can evict you too. Exactly. If she sells the house, then the new owner can evict you. It's not your house. Oh my goodness. Not your house. Craziness. What's the second one? So there's another one that answered all five. One, no. Two, she's your landlord. If you don't like that move, you have no contract with her, so you're month-to-month tenant. Three, it can be legal to say, buy the house or get evicted so I can sell it. Four, you don't. Five, that's not an ethics complaint that will go nowhere. Six, dear Lord, please condense this because it's borderline unreadable. If a lawyer can't read it, you know you're in trouble. Bug Hunter says, one, no, unless her will specifically designated how the body should be treated, the spouse decides. They are the spouse until the divorce is final. No amount of going to divorce matters. If the spouse violated that portion of the will, since you are not in the will, likely you will have no cause. Two, you can't. The only contract that is binding is a written contract. You have your state's month-to-month tenant protections, and that is it. So that's why they're on a month-to-month, because the state decided that if you don't have a contract, you're automatically a month-to-month tenant because you don't own the house. Can I say that enough times? You don't own the house. Three, so long as you both agree to the terms, sure. Four, you're not going to, at the end of the day, it was her responsibility to keep an updated will. Five, if she did not legally change her name, then this would be fruitless, as legal documents are going to use their legal name. If she legally changed her name, then you should just tell them her legal name at the time of death was X. I want to take a moment to point out this has zero to do with being poly or trans or anything. This kind of thing happens quite often when someone's life changes greatly. But failure to update the will leaves everything in chaos. That is true. We just did our wills recently. It wasn't really a will so much as a, yeah, I guess it was a will. There's a lot that goes into it, and they do it fairly cheaply, just saying. A few $1,000s for everything. Neckties says, sad as the circumstances are, your partner did not update her will despite knowing that it needed to be done to assure you and the other partner to be beneficiaries than her spouse. That's the sad truth. Acknowledging to wanting your will change, but not following through with getting it done doesn't cut it. As for the house, it is still in both her and her spouse's name unless her spouse agreed to relinquish ownership and title. It only is in your partner's name. Only in your partner's name. Your partner couldn't grant any sort of ownership of the property, even if she had even if she had updated her will. At best, you and your partner would become co-owners with her spouse. You would then have to come across some settlement to get the spouse's name off the title. There's really not much of a chance that you have any rights to the home, more than a month-to-month tenancy. As for her spouse being the landlord now, yes, that is very possible. As the owner of the property, she is now your landlord, and you are likely on a month-to-month tenant. If it is contentious, as you say, she can ask you to vacate in 30 days. She can also increase the rent in 30 days notice as well. Any implicit contract you had with your partner does not carry over to her spouse. That's what she should do, is up the rent every like 60 days until they can't afford it anymore. Of course, they probably weren't paying her anyway, but she can recover that in small claims court. Morning Beloved says, thanks for your responses. You don't think it's significant that she abandoned the house completely? She didn't abandon the house. You kicked her out of the house. I think she has even her own apartment now, which ought to be proof she doesn't intend to actually live at the house she abandoned ever again. No, that's not how that works. What in the heck are these people on? I'm also finding it hard to believe, even in the current administration, that someone who is never part of a relationship and who never entered into any kind of formal or informal agreement with someone can swoop in after a tragedy, steal and burn a human body, and force you into unconscionable, inherently unbalanced, unstable month to month lease, even where the amount of rent, blood money, you will owe can change every 30 days. Isn't quiet enjoyment part of a landlord's obligations? Not when they don't want you there. And Oiba says she doesn't have to live in the house she owns. She can rent it out. She can sell it. She can leave it vacant if she likes. She's the owner. Just as she was the legal next of kin to your partner, which gave her the authority to decide how to handle the remains. Legally speaking, it was you two who were never part of a relationship. Legally, you were roommates or possibly tenants of your partner. The current administration has nothing to do with the legality of month to month leases, which are legal and have nothing to do with quiet enjoyment. And then they answer again. But again, she abandoned it. I think that's part of a term of art in North Carolina. We all watched her leave. We were there. We packed the bags and put them by the door. I know you polyphobia still has institutional backing, but could you please not reduce our relationship, which we are still in mourning to? You were roommates. And Amelia says, has nothing to do with Polly. If she moved one partner instead of two, they still be legally a roommate or tenant. Abandonment, as in marital abandonment, is that what you're trying to say? Marital abandonment is when a spouse leaves with no justification or provocation. I'd say two lovers and their group of buddies showing up to help you pack and leave so they can move you into your own home is about as much provocation as can be imagined. If anything, possibly your partner is the one who abandoned her marriage. However, none of this is relevant since abandonment doesn't strip you of your property rights. Even if there's a claim to abandonment from bed and board, that still has to be litigated and the properly legally awarded to the claiming spouse. And they still insist that she abandoned it. She didn't abandon it. You kicked her out. There's a difference. There is a difference. Okay, that's the beloved saga. I hope you enjoyed it. That's what's wrong. Not. Oh, sorry. There. Oops, it should be. Was that fun? Did you like it? I don't know where those people get off. That's crazy. So we will save another one for another day. Um, go back to last week. No, that's not where that would be. So that one was last week. I don't know when. Can't remember what day we read this one. Clearly, I haven't done my work. I was supposed to do my work this weekend, and I I did not. I'm a bad person. I'm gonna do some of it today, though. That was probably on the 21st, I'm guessing. I need to do format. There we go. Okay. Okay. This is from Am I Overreacting? Am I overreacting for leaving my husband after one incident? And it is a 34 female based in Sydney, Australia. A couple of days ago, my husband came home after a night out with his old football teammates. He was angry, and we had a small fight before he became physical towards me and our small daughter, 7. Then he locked her in a bedroom and assaulted me sexually. I reported to my local police, who have put a temp order in place, but he was given bail. And now I'm sleeping in my car with our daughter since the order he has threatened to kill me and blocked access to our shared account, forcing me to open a new account so I can claim some sort of help. I'm now waiting for emergency accommodation. I have no support and feel completely unseen. Do I have to be murdered to actually matter? Am I overreacting by going to the police? No. His cousin is a priest and he has sent me some really long messages about forgiveness and the blessings of marriage. Gag me. I don't feel blessed right now and I'm currently having to weigh up as if I steal something for me and my daughter to eat tonight or do I beg? The world seems so unfair at the moment. Yeah, I guess. And this she does have some pictures. You can see the bruise on her arm there and on the other side. So he did harm her. Um, Honestly, no, she's not overreacting at all. She's underreacting, if anything. And what is with this priest? I really, really, really hate when religions are all, oh, you have to forgive, blah, 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 blah. There are some things that are unforgivable. I'm sorry. There are things that are unforgivable, and rape is one of them. Treat, prove me wrong. Dark psychology says set an example for your daughter and teach her what not to tolerate in her own relationship someday. If she came to you and told you exactly what you told us, would you support her going back? Forrestain says this needs to be highlighted more. Don't tell your daughter to even begin to think this is normal behavior. You want to do better than to teach her anything that's other than abuse to be avoided and not acceptable. Girlfriend says at age 7, she's likely to remember these encounters, OP. Please move on with your daughter. Your husband needs to have his anger issues treated, and then you still shouldn't go back. How can you go back after that? How would it ever, how? How would you ever tolerate it? I also wonder what his day to day anger looks like compared to nonviolent guy. I wish you well, OP. And Nomad Life says, and it's Nomad spells like gnome. That last part especially needs to be considered. I guarantee this isn't the first incident if OP looks back. The first incident of physical violence towards her, maybe. And even that, I have my doubts. I'd be willing to bet it's just an escalation of other verbal and emotional abuse that she's been able to write off or downplay internally. Yeah. Usually, physical stuff is not what first happens. And even though it seems to have taken a long time for this to happen, still, let's not. This needs to be not normalized. It's normal right now for people to go back after they've been abused, and it shouldn't be. It's really sad. It takes something like a dozen times for people to try and leave an abuser, which is crazy. And then, what are you going to do? So sad. So sad. Let's see if we can find an I don't work here. Because you know how hard those are to come by. First one's a nope. Yep, we're not gonna get one. Sorry, guys. Not gonna happen. Because I read all of them because most of them were deleted by the moderators. Most of them by the moderators. Just no mill. Maybe we can do it just no mill. Oh, we did that one on the 23rd too. This is not formatting right. Putting in. I guess I'm used to Excel doing everything correctly the first time. Oh, this sounds like a good one. Okay, good. This is from Just No Mother-in-Law. Mother-in-law offended for eavesdropping. um, and it's flared am I the Just No. I don't really know whether to laugh or cry, honestly. So my husband and I were talking at home about the behavior of his mother and father towards us and how moving out of our house is necessary. She literally lives next door and her garden is right next to ours. My husband and I went into detail about her behavior. He admitted that she's interfering with our relationship and making things difficult for us. And we talked about the needs to set firmer boundaries so that our daughter and I aren't harmed by her nonsense. Well, after that, I went out in the garden, only to find my mother in law leaning her head against our fence and a broom on the other hand. She quickly pretended to be sweeping, although it was obvious she had been listening to everything. Since that moment 3 weeks ago, she hasn't spoken to my husband or me. She walks around the neighborhood with her head down and crying, says she's fine. It's not the first time she hasn't spoken to to either of us. Honestly, we're not too worried, but it's so clearly manipulative that it's unsettling. She also told my husband that I'm the one not talking to her. Obviously, she can't say anything to us because the source of the conflict was a private conversation she went out of her way to overhear, but she still acts offended. It's so weird. We've agreed to just ignore her. I'm torn between finding it funny, irritating, or interesting that she behaves this way and clearly expects an apology when she interfered with our privacy by eavesdropping. Yeah, she wants an apology for something that she shouldn't have overheard, and it's her own fault she overheard it. She does not own an apology. Private conversations are private and they don't owe apologies to third parties if they hear something they don't like. Don't be listening in on other people's conversations. You might hear something you don't like. And that is it. And if you hear something you don't like, no one owes you an apology. They didn't say it to your face. All right. Do. We're going to read one from AITAH. It's a step kid one. That should be good. Oh, that's sad. This is from AITH. AITAH. I don't know what I'm saying today. Sorry. It's Monday. I'm tired. Went and helped my sister-in-law unpack a few things yesterday. I'm not as tired as my husband is, but it's still tiring. It was 75 degrees in her house. She had it set at 68. It's perfectly fine. It was 75 because of the sun. It were toasty in there. It was nice, but not when you're trying to work. She also bought us Chinese food, so thank you. That's what I had for lunch today. I haven't had Chinese food in forever. It was so good. All right. AITAH for telling my stepkids that I no longer view them as my kids. To start this as a throwaway, as I don't want to connect this to my bank account. That's understandable. I, 36 female, and my husband, 42 male, has two daughters who are 16 and 13. My husband and I have been around together for 8 years. So half or more of the kids' lives. For some context, the girls have a mom who is just not active in her life. She comes around once a year or every other year and stays for 2 to 3 months and then leaves. That's really sad. So, for all intents and purposes, this is the girl's mother. The problem is when she comes to town, the girls change. For example, after me and their dad got married, they started calling me mom, and as they felt I was their mom. But then their mom came back and would stop and call her mom and push me to the side. I understand why they did that. When they were younger and confused, it was trying to please her. They're still kids. They're still trying to please her. They're just kids. We put them in therapist, and their therapist had them apologize, and they tried to explain it. The next 2 times it happened, she told me to try and have a talk with them. Their mom decided not to come for the next 2 years, and it was really peaceful 2 years for the kids. The kids were good and enjoyed school, their new brother, and were just happy. This year, their mom decided to come. She came in August and stayed until about a week ago. This is about a month ago, so she stayed for a couple of months. This time she came to the girls, changed completely, and started not calling me mom and saying disrespectful things to me and their dad, to them, telling their brother they didn't like him and that wasn't their real brother, and some other stuff. But the main thing is that they said was really hurt that I wasn't their mom and I would never be, and that I'm a bad stepmom and their mom is their only mom. That's such a hard age to be going through stuff like that. It's really hard. And kids this age will say things that hurt you because they're trying to figure all this stuff out themselves. And it's really, really hard. I've been through it myself as the kid. So last week when their mom left, they slowly tried to crawl their way back and start calling me mom again, and I told them I didn't want them to call me that anymore. They looked shocked when I said that, and I asked why, and they told me multiple times that I'm not their mom and I'm a bad stepmom and that their mom is the only mom, and I said I would no longer view you as my kids. They looked hurt and went to tell their dad what was said, and he said it's between us. Their therapist thinks I was harsh, but I don't, as they are old enough to realize that what's wrong to say and what's right. So AITAH. Note, I also don't want to put the blame on the younger one as much as I blame the older one, as she should know better. And I understand things with the parents are hard, but I was younger than her when I cut my father off, and he was similar to how their mom is. The rose-colored glasses should be faded or fading by now, as she's old enough to understand. I think you have to give a lot of leeway to kids like this. They've basically been abandoned by their mother. And yeah, I understand how you feel about it, but sometimes the right thing to do is actually harder than the easier thing to do. And this is one of those situations to suck up and just go along, and they'll figure it out eventually. It might take till they're 30 years old or 40 or 50, but they will figure it out eventually. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and be the better person, the bigger person. Programmer Rich says it sounds like their mom is in their ear telling them stuff, probably lies about you and their dad. That's why it seems like it's happening every time their mom shows up. They probably miss her and want her validation, so they listen to her. That's very possible. Mouse Attack says, I think they're just trying to please her in hopes that if they do, she will start meeting their needs. Maternal abandonment is damaging in a primal way, and for most, even having excellent additional parents doesn't erase the pain and confusion of knowing that someone who made you wants nothing to do with you. Oh crap. I'm gonna have to take a break real quick here. Don't see that anywhere. It's weird. Some of the other things, there's a little break button. It never shows up on here. I don't know why. Nope. I forgot to plug it in again. It's I'm a goofus. That's weird. Okay. That's not working either. Okay. Well, let me get my little papery thing. If I can find it. It just need to be this. This. No, that works. Because I don't want you to have to stare at my room. That's terrible. Okay, maybe that'll stay. All right, I'll be right back. Or not. It's not working for some reason. There we go. All right. Oh. Did you hear that groan when I got up? Yeah, an old sucks, kids. Just so you know. All right. So Aunt Lauren answered the kids with attachment issues have been repeatedly abandoned by their inconsistent biological mother. The children with attachment issues are often left out at those most steady and stable of their life, but they, just like any other children, actually more than most children really, really need that stability and love. Of course, OP feels hurt. I mean, yeah, it's understandable. Of course, she felt abandoned by them. I think it's reasonable for her to communicate her hurt to them. It is. I agree with that. But she is the adult in the situation. And I think she went about communicating her hurt in an incredibly cruel and destructive way. These kids are deep in pain from their bio mom abandoning them yet again. They clearly don't have the ability to fully detach from wanting their biological mother's love and approval. When kids with abandonment issues push you away, you can let them know that their actions hurt you. But for God's sake, don't reply with what is essentially, "You said you don't want me, so now you know I don't want you either." It's going to be incredibly damaging to them. Yeah, she was way too harsh. Even her therapist says she was too harsh. Your therapist is telling you you've been too harsh. You've been way too harsh. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. Poor girls. Poor girls. What time is it? Well, it's 3 o'clock. I think I'm going to get off of here. I will be back tomorrow because I don't know how long I'm going to be without a car. I was teasing them that they had to get me groceries. I do need a few things. Um, I can probably just have them delivered actually. So I'll pay the $10. It's not that big a deal. Shh, don't tell my husband. He doesn't know. Um, I need, I think, another box of stuffed up stuffing because there's gonna be 6 of us instead of the 3 I thought there was gonna be, which is fine. I love my kids, so it's fine. Um, there's something else. Oh, more chips. more like chocolate chips. Bought a ton of chocolate chips, and now I've had requests for more fudge flavors. So I'm gonna have to do that. I'm making one for my daughter-in-law for sure. But now I've had a mint request and a butter pecan request, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to could deliver on that one, but maybe I can deliver on that one. We'll see. I have an idea for it. I don't usually make up my own stuff though, so it will be experiment. So, have a good day, biddies. Like I said, I'll be back probably at the normal time tomorrow, and we will do more of this. Because I don't have anything for this month. I did all the ones I planned for for this month. Um, I do make plans. Next month's gonna be a short month too because it's my birthday before it's Christmas. So I'll probably take some time off around my birthday. And maybe next week I'll have to take some time off to go shopping, 1 or 2 days. My whole schedule might change too. There are weird things going on, just saying. Things I will not discuss here. So anyway, I hope you all have a good day. I love all my biddies. Bye, biddies. Have a good day.